So we have a situation, we have media that really can't be trusted. Now, not like fake news like Donald Trump is, but individuals who are serving as hosts of popular shows, who are saying things that are just factually untrue, and who are saying things and making predictions and doing all that stuff. They're basically are showing themselves to be unreliable. And I've talked about that some on the show. For example, we had Lawrence O'Donnell, who back in 2015, 2016, was saying that Donald Trump was never going to actually run for president. And he gave all these reasons why Donald Trump would never run for president. He said it repeatedly on his show, multiple episodes. He came forward and said this. Well, guess what? Donald Trump ran for president, and unfortunately he won. Lawrence O'Donnell said on another show more recently that the Republicans who run Florida will get the answer that they need, and maybe they'll stop pushing these draconian abortion bills, because he believed that the 57% that came out and voted in support of the amendment to the Constitution of the state of Florida that would enshrine the right to have an abortion in their Constitution, he believed that that would be a eureka moment to these people. They would stop being anti-choice, that they would stop pushing these draconian abortion laws on people. No. Again, it's not true, because it shows that he doesn't have any sort of understanding about how people's minds work when it comes to politics. There may very well be a significant chunk of the electorate who doesn't want abortion to be outlawed, but many of those people, or enough of those people, are also still Republicans, and while the issue of abortion, they'll vote pro-choice if given the option to, the issue of abortion is not enough to get them to vote for Democrats or to not support the Republican Party or what have you. That Lawrence O'Donnell doesn't understand this shows that he has no business prognosticating political issues, simply because of the fact that he's been wrong that many times. Well, he was wrong again. I turned on his show last night, and I had to turn it off real quick, but this is part of the clip that he was playing, and we're going to go into it, and we'll discuss my issue with what he has to say here, because again, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Most of the Trump lies land uncontested by any of the reporters in the room. Sometimes what Donald Trump says after a question is an explicit refusal to answer the question, like today when Donald Trump said, "It's a military strategy, and I'm not answering your questions on military strategy." No other president has been allowed to respond to questions that way and leave it at that. Every other president who tried to say, "I'm not answering your questions on military strategy," would have been immediately bombarded with follow-up questions by the White House press corps. But
I don't think that's necessarily true. I remember George W. Bush making some sort of similar comments pertaining to things like the Iraq War and the war on terrorism or whatever. But that's not why I'm having this video, but I did want to throw that in there because, again, Lawrence O'Donnell should know better, and he doesn't. And I'm sure there's others who also refuse to answer questions in the history of this country about said issues, and he's just deciding to, I don't know if he just doesn't know, if he's ignorant of the facts or not, or what, but let's continue.
No one dared to do that today in a so-called press conference where Donald Trump said the single most insane things ever said by a president of the United States about anything, very much including military strategy. In response to a serious question from the New York Times, Donald Trump refused to rule out going to war with Panama, Greenland, and Canada. It was, of course, a mistake for the New York Times to take the Donald Trump idiot bait in his opening remarks when he talked about taking control of the Panama Canal, Greenland, and Canada. That was the idiot bait in the press conference. Anyone who asks Donald Trump about what is now his public plan as of today to make Canada the 51st state, or to make Greenland part of the United States, or seize the Panama Canal, is falling for the Trump idiocy that will absolutely never, ever happen. Not one word Donald Trump speaks about those issues will ever happen. This is the Mexico will pay for the wall idiocy updated to 2025. Donald Trump knows he can't do the old Mexico will pay for the wall bit again. And Donald Trump knows that all of his bits must be progressively more and more outrageous. We are 8 years away from the ridiculous lie fantasy of Mexico will pay for the wall. So sure, it's time to make Canada the 51st state.
Okay, so why would we believe Lawrence O'Donnell at this point? Why, again, I understand that conservatives believe that the moral of the story of The Boy Who Cried Wolf is that if somebody lies to you and they repeatedly lie to you over and over again, the conservative moral of the story is you should still believe them, because what if they're telling the truth the next time? Right? When the real moral of the story of The Boy Who Cried Wolf is, if you lie all the time, people are going to stop believing you, and as such, won't believe you when you actually tell the truth. Now, do I actually believe that Donald Trump is going to be successful in, taking back Greenland, or taking back the Panama Canal, or making, Canada the 51st state or whatever? I don't believe he'll be successful in doing so, but that doesn't mean that we should not take him seriously, that he might want to try and do such things. That doesn't make me believe that we should absolutely try and take Donald Trump seriously when it comes to those things. Even though he might be very well using it as a distraction, we should still take his words very seriously, because they are various serious threats to Panama, to Denmark, who owns Greenland, to our northern neighbors, Canada. Do you not believe, Lawrence O'Donnell, that Donald Trump would do reckless things in the name of this country to benefit himself? Donald Trump's mad at Panama because he lost his hotel and whatever, because the courts there ruled against him. Donald Trump's obsessed with Greenland for who knows what reason. Maybe he thinks it's actually green land, and as such, he'll be able to make lots of, resorts on that land. And whatever the hell is with Canada. But even if you don't believe he'll be able to be successful doing those things, just as he wasn't successful with making Mexico pay for the wall, he still had the wall being built. So even if he's not successful in doing these things, that doesn't mean that he's not going to try and do these things, and as such, be a destabilizing force in the global political climate, in the sphere of global politics, so to speak. But furthermore, when Lawrence O'Donnell said that Donald Trump would never run for president, he was wrong. When Lawrence O'Donnell said that the Republican GOP leadership would take into consideration that 57% of Florida voted to support abortion rights, he was wrong. They're never going to waver on that issue, because they know the truth about their voters, and Lawrence O'Donnell doesn't. So if Lawrence O'Donnell is wrong about those other things, why should we trust that he's correct about this one? He's an unreliable speaker. He has proven himself to be unreliable time and time again, yet still manages to maintain a spot in the national media spotlight. And again, just to reiterate, I don't think he's going to be able to take back Panama, or at least do it easily. I don't think he's going to seize Greenland. I don't think Canada is going to be a new state in our union. The problem is the fact that he wants to try anyway. That's the issue. And Lawrence O'Donnell is completely dismissing it out of hand as if Donald Trump's recklessness is not a threat to our nation and to the rest of the world. Anyway, what do you think? Agree, disagree? Leave your comments down below. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and have a good day.